Oh, Darko's here. All right, so I got your stuff. I got your Maya too. So I was looking through it, and well, I don't know. I mean, I really have a feeling that you didn't really address my notes that I sent you last time. You did your up and downs. You added up and downs. That's true. And now the character, looks like she is walking. But if you look closer, she doesn't really walk properly. That's the problem. Um, um, okay, so let's start somewhere. Where are we gonna start? The thing is that right now I can see that on 1 and 2, I guess it's a stepped. So on 1, she's in a contact, fine, and then on 3, she's down pose. She should actually be in down pose on 4. So that's why it feels that she is kind of walking very fast. I mean, faster than I would say normal. If you follow me, what I was saying, I think before, that contacts should be on frame 1 contact. Then let me write down here so you're gonna remember. So contact frame 1, right? Frame 1. Oh man, that's okay. So frame 1, it's a contact. Frame 4, it's a down pose. Seven is passing. Come on. 10 should be up, and then 13 is new contact. So basically it's the same as this one, is just opposite legs, right? It's the whole pose is like mirrored. So whatever here was left, here is right and opposite, right? So then, of course, 16 is gonna be down pose. My tablet is playing with me, right? But again, it's the same as this one, but opposite. Again, just like in a mirror, right? And so on and so on. If you follow this, it will be just slightly a little bit slower, and it's gonna look better from that point of the timing wise. Now, when I'm playing this, I also notice that on some places your character is not moving legs. This is a walk in a cycle, right? It's like if you can imagine your character being on treadmill, right? So if you have a treadmill here, right, and your character, and this is constantly spinning, right? This is constantly spinning, and your character is here, right, walking on it. These legs, they have to move constantly, right? So if you have a contact pose here hitting on this place, right, down pose will have to move, right? Down pose will be here because the foot moved from here to there. and then passing one will be here, and then finally up will be here, and then it's getting to new contact. So the feet, they have to move constantly. They cannot stay on the same place for for a longer time. Why I'm saying that is because that's exactly what I kind of detected. Let's see. You see that? She comes down here with a heel, and then next pose, she's still there. You see that? Well, if she's on treadmill, that this foot was supposed to be already somewhere here back. Right? Because the foot has to move in that direction. Like just like here. You see that? That's how it's supposed to move. But here and there it got stuck. And I think that happened on a few more occasions. There you go. Just here, right? If she's standing here on that place, how come on the next one her toes are still on the same place where they were before? This has to move back. There is a constant movement with the feet because she's on treadmill. There you go, here again. From here, there's the heel is on the same place. Here you have movement, you see, that's good. And then again here, right? So you have to move feet all the time. When I said that you didn't address my notes is because what I'm looking here and what I saw actually in my file is that when she is in a contact here, and her leg is forward, right? Look at me. I can really draw well. Forward. This is the right foot forward. Right foot forward. Then hips, they have to be rotated away. Right? Rotation Y. Is not correct. It's supposed to be in opposite direction, and because the hips are rotated in opposite direction, they should be facing that way. The upper part, right, the chest should be opposite of that. Also, here, as she is lifting that leg in a passing pose, again, her hips are being rotated opposite way. The hips are supposed to be rotating in Z, right? But in opposite. They should be like this. And I was explaining that in last video. That's why I'm saying I'm not really sure that you watched, because well, you didn't address it, right? So when the foot is coming up, the hips are actually leaning this way. This is rotation Z. Right? Another thing, really big thing, is that you did not move these the hips in translation X. In translation X, these hips, X, right? these hips here, they have to move left and right. They have to shift the weight of the character. When the foot is getting off the ground, you cannot be constantly on the same place with the hips. Those hips have to move to the left side, so this leg really becomes supporting leg. But the other one, in order to be able to be lifted off, we have to shift the hips on one side. So these hips would have to be, in this case, in order to lift this left leg up, we have to shift this weight of the body and hips here on the left side. So the leg, this one would be a little bit over here, so that the whole body will be really supported by this leg, right leg, while the left one will be able to be lifted off the ground. So these hips will be now here. So these hips, once again, they have to be moved, and also they have to be rotated. So moved to the left and rotated down in Z, so that it's not horizontal, but actually they are leaning like this, because this foot is getting up and it's off the ground, while the other one, again, is being supported. This is crucial, right? This is really crucial. So as you rotate these hips, you have to work also with a spine to get back the character where it was. In passing pose and up pose, actually in passing pose, only passing pose, the hips, well, actually contacts and passing pose, right? Well, actually, I got a little bit confused now by myself, honestly. But in a passing pose, the hips are facing forward, right? So there is the rotation on the hips actually is completely forward, straight forward. While, so let me show you here again, right? So we have and this is top view, right? Top view, as we are looking from the top. If these are hips, as you can see, they are rotated this way because the leg, front right leg is forward and left one is back. That's why this hip has to be rotated, and it basically is facing this way. Now, this is the contact with the right foot forward. Here is the contact with the left foot forward and the right foot back. Right? So now this hip is rotated this way. In the middle between these two, right, will be passing pose, and in the passing pose, the hips will be facing this way, right? So here the hips are facing this way, here the hips are facing that way. In the passing one, they're facing completely forward, and here in a down pose, there will be in between this, and in the up pose, the facing will be again between passing and a new contact. So you don't have a movement in the hips, any kind of. I mean, you have to have translation X, like I said. You have to have rotation in proper way. So if the foot is, if foot is, this foot is forward, the hips have to face the opposite way. And again, kind of the same thing here. If you have this leg forward, then hips have to face this way. So you have to turn them opposite. And the chest will be facing, should be rotated towards the opposite of hips, of course, and will be rotating on the other side of where the foot is. That's for now. That would be probably all what I have to say, because I don't want to confuse you even more. I also in Maya noticed that in translation Y, and that is a movement up and down, right? You have now all poses, of course. You have a contact, as I was looking translation Y, right? Then you have a down pose. You have then passing one and the up pose and the new contact and down and passing and up and contact and down. The problem with this is that, as you can see, this contact and this passing are on the same level. They shouldn't be on the same level, because contact has to be a little bit lower than the passing, because passing is pose on the straight leg. So in passing pose, the character is in a full height, right? If the character is 5 feet tall, only in a passing pose he's really 5 feet tall from the ground. In a contact, he is a little bit lower, so it should be kind of lower here, because his, in this case, her legs are spread, so that actually put her a little bit lower from the ground than passing, where the foot is straight. So in order to get this nice curve in the passing, in a graph editor. Like I said, I'm not gonna go further, because there is a lot to be worked on this and fixed. In a way, I would save what you have now, but I would start almost over. I mean, I would start with what you have right now as a contact on frame 1, and I would try to work out my stuff. I would keep the feet. I would move the hips on the opposite side, and I would rotate in Z those hips down, because when the foot is coming up. Now I'm gonna send you a video from YouTube that my friend and my co-worker here made, and I think that's gonna help you quite a bit if you follow that video, because video is made with a purpose to help people who are working walks, and especially if they have a problem with the basic walks. You should just go step by step, and you're gonna see why some stuff is done, and hopefully you're gonna understand the logic behind, right? That's the biggest problem, is to know when you are moving something, why you're moving that. It's not just that you're moving and you don't have an understanding of it. So please take a look at the video, and I think that's gonna help you greatly. All right? Okay. So thank you very much. Bye bye, Chloe.